The Champions Chess Tour Chessable Masters Final. Two elite grandmasters, one epic battle. Precision strategy and high-stakes drama unfold in this thrilling showdown. Who will claim the title? Magnus Carlsen kicks things off, playing e4. Classic and aggressive opening move that immediately claims a foothold in the center. This is the starting point for many of history's greatest battles on the board. In response, Hikaru Nakamura mirrors the action, playing e5, ensuring an open and dynamic game right from the start. The Norwegian superstar develops his knight to f3, attacking the central a5 pawn while setting the stage for rapid piece mobilization. Nakamura, never one to back down from a fight, responds in kind, playing nc6, defending his center and keeping all options open for an active game. Carlsen steers the game into the Italian, an opening known for its rich strategic depth and attacking potential. bc4 places his bishop on an ideal diagonal, black's weak f7 square. Nakamura, however, opts for the combative two knights defense, playing nf6, immediately striking back at white's center and hinting at counterplay. Rather than going for immediate complications, Magnus chooses the slower and more maneuvering-oriented gioco pianissimo setup, playing d3. This flexible approach supports his center and keeps future attacking ideas in reserve. Hikaru, ever resourceful, plays 6, taking a moment to prevent any pesky knight jumps to g5 which could threaten f7. A quick kingside castle prioritizes safety, getting the king out of the center and preparing for the middle game. Nakamura responds by developing his light, squared bishop to c5, actively positioning his pieces for central control. Carlsen lays the groundwork for a possible d4 pawn push, reinforcing his position. Meanwhile, Hikaru calmly plays d6, solidifying his center and keeping things flexible for future plans. Carlsen brings out his knight to d2, a typical maneuver in this structure for future piece coordination. Nakamura, in turn, castles kingside, ensuring his own safety before engaging in deeper strategic play. Carlsen takes a moment to play h3, a small but useful move that prevents any annoying pins with bg4. Hikaru, rather than committing to an immediate central break, tucks his bishop back to b6, possibly preparing b6 to challenge white's setup. The former world champion continues improving his position, placing his rook on a central file, anticipating future tension in the middle of the board. Nakamura, always looking for counterplay, expands on the queen side, hoping to gain space and create potential threats later on, not wanting to allow black to push. A4 himself, Carlsen quickly responds, locking the queenside structure in place. Hikaru, unbothered, calmly develops his bishop to e6, eyeing the center and preparing to challenge Magnus's stronghold. Carlsen adds another layer of reinforcement to his queenside, ensuring his structure remains solid. Nakamura, meanwhile, places his rook on e8, hinting at a possible central break with d5 in the future. The Norwegian prodigy ramps up the pressure, directly challenging black's knight on c6. Hikaru wastes no time in responding, immediately developing his dark squared bishop to d7 to shore up his defenses. Carlsen maneuvers his knight to c4, eyeing key squares on the queen side and in the center. Nakamura, seeing no immediate threats, repositions his bishop to c5, keeping it on an active diagonal. Magnus retreats his bishop to d2, ensuring flexibility and preparing potential exchanges. Hikaru, ever the strategist, shifts his bishop back to s7, possibly to avoid future attacks while keeping an eye on the position. Carlsen decides it's time to break the tension, capturing on c6 to weaken black's pawn structure slightly. Nakamura, of course, recaptures with his bishop, maintaining piece activity. With a sharp tactical eye, Carlsen snatches a pawn on a5, immediately grabbing material. However, Nakamura, never one to miss an opportunity, responds with a stunning bishop sacrifice bishop f2, forcing the white king into the open. Magnus has no choice but to accept the sacrifice, capturing the bishop with his king. Hikaru, in turn, swiftly regains his lost material by taking the rook. The game is now wide open. Carlsen, looking to activate his queenside majority, pushes b4, expanding aggressively. Nakamura, realizing that his rook is slightly misplaced, quickly retreats it to a safer post. The world champion continues his attack, gaining more space. Hikaru, staying solid, repositions his bishop back to d7, keeping a close watch on the board. Carlsen cements his central control, locking in his structure and limiting black's mobility. Nakamura counters, challenging white's expanding pawn mass. Sensing possible tactical dangers, Magnus steps his king away from the center. Hikaru, undeterred, develops his bishop actively, eyeing potential breakthroughs. Carlsen keeps up the pressure with a bold pawn push, further restricting black's movement. Nakamura, sensing the growing threat, retreats his knight, repositioning for defense. Magnus takes a moment to improve his king's safety, tucking it away from any future checks. Hikaru seizes the opportunity to capture white's pawn, looking to challenge Carlsen's control on the queen side. Carlsen immediately strikes back, recapturing the pawn and maintaining his strong structure. Nakamura, ever the tactician, jumps his knight into c5, attacking and creating counterplay. Magnus brings his rook up, looking for possible invasion routes. Hikaru responds, reinforcing his position and keeping everything under control. Carlsen activates his queen, shifting it to b1 to prepare for further operations. Nakamura continues with precise maneuvering, repositioning his knight, eyeing central squares. Magnus goes all in on his queenside play, pushing his passed pawn further up the board. Hikaru has no choice but to capture, momentarily stopping white's momentum. Carlsen instantly replaces the lost pawn with another, keeping his passed a pawn alive and dangerous. Nakamura blockades it effectively, preventing immediate promotion threats. The passed pawn is nearly unstoppable. Carlsen threatens to queen, but Nakamura keeps his nerves, immediately cutting it off. Pressure on the advanced pawn. Magnus reroutes his queen, maintaining control of the long diagonal. Hikaru, always looking for counterplay, plants his bishop on b5, creating tactical possibilities. Carlsen calmly centralizes his bishop, reinforcing his position. Nakamura seizes the moment to sacrifice his knight for activity, snatching a pawn to shake things up. Magnus responds instantly, doubling down on the queen side. Nakamura continues his aggressive stance, keeping the pressure high. Carlsen reinforces his knight, improving his grip on the position. Nakamura tries to open the position and create chaos. Magnus captures the pawn, further simplifying the position to his advantage. Hikaru, refusing to go down without a fight, pushes forward, trying to generate counterplay. Carlsen, ever the precision player, increases the pressure. Nakamura, desperate for activity, shoves his e-pawn forward, hoping to break through. Magnus eliminates a key pawn and gains control of the position. Hikaru, with limited options left, goes for a final kingside attack. Carlsen calmly defends, blocking any immediate threats. But Nakamura sacrifices his knight, forcing complications. Magnus removes an attacker. Nakamura in return grabs the a3 rook, but his position is now completely lost. Carlsen wastes no time, pushing his passed d pawn, ensuring his advantage. Hikaru is forced to move with no real defensive resources left. Magnus places his queen on a perfect central square, sealing Nakamura's fate. Hikaru makes one last desperate try. It's too late. Carlsen delivers the final blow. Nakamura resigns. An intense battle comes to an end. Both players fought fiercely, but only one could emerge victorious. Stay tuned for more epic chess showdowns. Like, comment and subscribe for more top level games.